When you walk into a room full of people, something invisible is already happening. People are scanning, positioning, observing, deciding who they'll listen to, who they'll ignore, and where they belong. As a facilitator, your job is not just to run an activity or share information. It's to read the room, to sense the energy underneath the words, the currents that move people closer or further apart. Because facilitation isn't about control, it's about understanding dynamics. And if you can recognize the four most common group dynamics that show up in almost every session, you'll know how to guide people without force, without friction. In this video, we'll explore those four dynamics deeply, how they show up, why they matter, and how to respond in real time. Grab a notebook, because if you lead meetings, workshops, or even small teams, what you're about to learn could transform the way you lead. Before I go on, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this content with your friends. 1. The power dynamic. Let's start with the most obvious. The power dynamic. Every group has a natural hierarchy, spoken or unspoken. There's always someone who talks more, someone who stays quiet, and someone who others naturally defer to. It's not always bad. Power dynamics are part of how humans organize themselves. But as a facilitator, you need to see it clearly. Watch for who takes up space, not just physical space, but airtime. Who interrupts others? Whose ideas get validated quickly? Who shifts their opinion depending on who spoke last? These are your power signals. For example, in a corporate workshop, you might notice everyone glancing at a senior manager before responding. That's not coincidence. It's hierarchy. People are subconsciously seeking permission. Your role is to neutralize the imbalance without embarrassing anyone. That could mean saying, "Let's hear from someone we haven't heard from yet." Or, "I noticed we're referencing John's point a lot. Let's build on a few others before circling back." The key is not to shame the person with power, but to rebalance participation. If you ignore power dynamics, your session becomes performative. People will nod, but real dialogue won't happen. When you name it gently, the room exhales, and suddenly the quieter voices emerge. Remember this: power is not the problem. Unacknowledged power is. 2. The alliance dynamic. Next, we have the alliance dynamic. Groups form mini tribes, little pockets of shared familiarity. It could be colleagues from the same department or friends who already know each other. They'll sit together, laugh at the same jokes, and subtly create an us versus them energy. And here's what happens. When alliances dominate, the room divides, and collaboration dies quietly. You'll feel it in the body language. Some people leaning in, others sitting back, excluded. As a facilitator, you must break the comfort of familiarity without creating discomfort. Start by mixing groups intentionally. Change seating, switch pairs. Use activities that require cross-pollination of ideas, something like pair up with someone you haven't worked with before. Then, normalize it with lightness. I know we all have our comfort zones. Let's stretch a bit today and see what new insights emerge. You're not punishing connection, you're expanding it. Here's a real example. In one leadership retreat, I noticed 3 team leads always echoing each other's opinions. The rest stayed silent. So I asked a reflective question. I'm curious, what perspectives might we be missing if we all agree too quickly? The silence that followed was powerful. Suddenly, others began to speak, and the group shifted. Alliances are natural, but when they start forming walls instead of bridges, you must step in gently, curiously, and confidently. 3. The resistance dynamic. Let's talk about the resistance dynamic. Every facilitator has felt this one. The crossed arms, the polite silence, the quiet eye roll. Resistance shows up when people don't feel safe, seen, or when they don't buy into the process. And here's the mistake many facilitators make. They take resistance personally. But resistance isn't about you, it's a signal. It tells you something about the group's readiness or trust level. Instead of pushing harder, pause and get curious. Ask, "I'm sensing some hesitation in the room. What's coming up for you all right now?" This question alone can transform tension into openness, because when people feel their emotions are acknowledged, not judged, they relax. You can also use humor or storytelling to diffuse resistance. Something like, I get it, some of these activities feel a little unusual. But sometimes discomfort is the doorway to insight. Don't fight the resistance. Invite it. Turn it into conversation. And remember, silence isn't always defiance. Sometimes it's reflection, fatigue, or just confusion. If you create space for honesty, resistance often becomes your greatest ally. Because behind every "I don't want to do this" is usually an unmet need for clarity, control, or respect. As a facilitator, your empathy is your superpower. 4. The energy dynamic. Finally, let's explore the energy dynamic. This one is subtle, but once you learn to track it, you'll never unsee it. Every group has an emotional rhythm. It rises during excitement, dips during conflict, and sometimes flatlines when people check out mentally. Energy is contagious, and you're the thermostat. You can feel when the room goes flat. People look at their phones, avoid eye contact, or respond with, "Yeah, sure." Instead of forcing motivation, try matching the energy first, then slowly lift it. If the room feels low, acknowledge it. Say something like, "It seems like we're running a little low on fuel. Let's take 2 minutes to breathe, stretch, or just check in with where we are." Sometimes shifting the state of the group is more powerful than pushing for content. Remember, engagement is not constant, it's cyclical. So design your facilitation with rhythm. Alternate between discussion and reflection, group and individual work, energy up and energy down. That's how you keep people connected without burnout. And here's the secret. When you master energy, you master attention. Because attention follows aliveness. Every group you'll ever facilitate is a living system, filled with stories, power, emotion, and movement. When you learn to see these dynamics, power, alliance, resistance, and energy, you stop reacting and start responding. You begin to see what others can't. You sense when the conversation is drifting, when someone feels unseen, when the energy in the room needs a reset. And that's what makes facilitation a true art form, not just guiding people through activities, but guiding them through themselves. So, next time you walk into a room, pause, breathe, observe before you speak. Ask yourself, who has the power here? Where are the alliances forming? What resistance am I sensing? What's the energy doing right now? Because once you start seeing these invisible dynamics, you no longer just run sessions, you transform rooms. If this helped you see facilitation in a deeper way, consider subscribing. Because here, we're not just talking about managing groups, we're learning how to move people.